heated election year with complicated social issues at play. And in recent years, some public figures have seen their social media posts impact employment.
So where is the legal line when it comes to political speech in the workplace? What are your protections when it comes to sharing your views? Joining us today is employment attorney Angela Reddock-Wright. Good morning. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it. Timely issue.
Indeed it is, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, of course, we know there's a constitutional right to free speech, but when it comes to talking about political views, controversial social views in the workplace, are there legal limits or legal protections?
So the challenge in talking to a lawyer about an issue like this is that the answer is never yes or no. It's always, it depends. But I would start by saying that it's highly discouraged, not illegal necessarily, but highly discouraged to discuss workplace or highly controversial social issues with your coworkers in the workplace. Many of us think that our First Amendment rights to free speech extend to anything that we do. But remember, the First Amendment was designed or put into place to help protect citizens against the government who might attempt to quell their speech. But those First Amendment rights don't necessarily extend into the workplace, and employers have a right to establish policies where they can prohibit employees from engaging in political discussion or engaging in discussion that might be offensive or come across as discriminatory or harassing to other employees.
So employers do have the right, as you just mentioned. Are there any exceptions or limits, though, on what employers can or cannot do in terms of limiting political speech in the workplace?
Yes, there are. So some of us work in unionized environments, and some work environments are not unionized, but there's a federal agency called the National Labor Relations Board, and that agency governs the rights that individuals have in the workplace. And that agency has issued rulings and mandates and rules that say an employer cannot limit an employee from talking about issues that impact their workplace rights or their benefits. So, for example, in this national election, there's a debate about possibly raising the minimum wage. And if you work in an environment where you feel like the minimum wage needs to be increased, you might raise an issue in the workplace, like, did you see this particular candidate talking about this issue? And that employee can say, I'm talking about it in the context of seeking to protect my and others' rights in the workplace when it comes to working conditions, wages, that kind of thing.
Now, one of the topics we mentioned right at the top, Megan mentioned social media. We've seen people get in trouble for their social media posts when it comes to their employment and their position, even in society. Can a company prohibit people from using their workplace computers or workplace device, maybe you have a company phone, when it comes to spreading socially controversial or political messages?
Absolutely. And in general, the employers can govern what you do with your computers, your company cell phones, or any equipment that you're using on behalf of the company. There is absolutely no right to privacy, no right to use the employer's equipment for your own personal purposes, whether that be for political reasons, social reasons, or just simply checking the latest fashion or makeup or what have you online. So absolutely, employers can control and govern and oversee what's spread, and can take action against someone for using their computers, using their company equipment for something other than work purposes.
That is the employer's legal right. How about, do they have any legal rights as to what you wear? Can they take action if they don't like that you're wearing a shirt that leans one political way?
Right, absolutely, yes. So most employers do have a dress code, so that's, first and foremost. But within that dress code, they can make sure that they can issue policies that say you can't wear anything that could come across as offensive to others, whether it be politically, sexually, race, any of those issues. So there was a recent case against a big box retailer, though, that where the retailer wanted to prevent employees from having Black Lives Matter on their apron as a signifying their political and other views. But the courts decided against that retailer, saying that employees, to the extent that they're wearing something to express a viewpoint about a workplace right or a workplace condition, in this instance, there was a belief that there was possible race discrimination within this environment. The court said that wearing that insignia was a sign of that employee exercising their political, not their political rights, but their rights to talk about unfair conditions in the workplace.
Real quick, we're almost out of time, but I do want to ask about outside of work. If you, for example, attend a protest, is that something that your company can discipline you for or fire you for?
Right. So our outside activities, and our employers can't govern what we do outside of work. But we've seen in a lot of cases, or a lot of issues recently, a lot of cases recently, where individuals do something where the employer says, you know what, that goes against the values of this company, or the employer may see that the person got into an altercation at a protest, and so they may say that is inconsistent with who we are as a company, and particularly given their position within the company, if it's a high-level position, that employer may decide to take action even based on outside activity.
Really
All
interesting.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Great conversation.
Thank you
you for being
so
here.
much more to discuss.
I know. You covered a lot of good bases.
You'll be back, I'm sure. For
Thank
more
you.
from Angela, check out her radio show, Legal Lens with Angela Radio Show on KBLA Talk 1580 on weekends, or head to angelareddock-wright.com. All the info for you. Take a picture of your screen. We'll be right back.